Yeah, I think ever since I've been at the football club, I've been here a long time, and this has been a big part of my life in local. And I always enjoyed helping out the Albion Foundation when I got the chance, and doing little bits and pieces in and around the community whenever it was possible. So, when obviously Stuart approached me to get involved in something to give back to younger people in the area, it was always something I'd like to be involved in, and hopefully. We had a decent start the other night with a few kids turning up, and we had a bit of a laugh. We had a bit of a kick around down in goals at Dudley, but it was it was good. And if that's something I can be involved in going forward and give a little bit back to the area that's given me so much as a football player, that'd be great. Yeah, I think when we were brought up, it was drummed into us as kids, from home, and I really enjoyed my time in school, and still got good friends from it. I think you probably don't realise it at the time, but those are probably the most enjoyable days of your life.
It makes and shapes you, doesn't it?
Of course it does,
for the rest of your life.
Of course it does, and you move forward, and you get jobs, and people have stresses of mortgages, bills, stuff like that. You don't have that when you're in school and college and whatnot. You need to enjoy those times more. And I think if I look back at it now, those are definitely some of the most enjoyable times of mine in school and education. Even in college, when I signed for Middlesbrough, we had to go for a day and a half a week at the college, and it was really enjoyable. You were there with all the lads. There's a bit of crack and that, and obviously come out the other end of it with something to show for it too. So it is important, and like you say, it shapes where people want to go in the future. There's so many. I mean, it's easy to use football as an example because obviously I've been involved in it for so long, but there's so many different parts to a football club. There's obviously the business side of ththings, the scouting and recruitment, as I mentioned before, the nutrition, the sports science, the academy administration. There is a lot of opportunities at football clubs, and if these kids are going down and they're getting to obviously play football and as part of the course too, which is a big part of well-being and fitness and stuff like that as well. It keeps them ticking over, keeps you in the right frame of mind moving forward. You can't just because you're not playing football every day professionally doesn't mean you can't be fit and you can't look after yourself and you can't develop and get better as a football player. And as part of that too, that'll be part of it too. There'll be coaching there, opportunities for kids to learn, to improve their own football skills, to go and play at whatever level they play at, whether that be Sunday league with their mates on a Sunday morning or semi-pro or whatever it is on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. But that's just an opportunity to develop in every way is great. Social skills, you see it a lot in football. You have to have a bit of personality. You have to, and a lot of kids being a teenager is difficult. We've all been there. And sometimes it's when there's a big group of people, it's easy to just sort of sit in the corner and go into your shell. But hopefully, and one thing football does or sport does is bring people out of their shells, because you have to communicate with people, and especially in team sports. You have to speak to other people. You have to be there. You have to listen to staff members. You have to interact with staff members. So, it's a big part of the program too. Is bringing young people, hopefully making them in, like I said before, decent people, and being able to hold their own in a room where they have to communicate with people. That's a big part in any job. It's easy to, especially nowadays, it's easy for kids to sit behind an Xbox and a set of headphones, and but my kids are guilty of it as well. My little boy sits in his Xbox and he shouts.
So am I.
But that's a generational thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where you speak to your mates. Whereas my generation, we used to go on and get on our bikes and go and meet your mates. Exactly. We used to go and ring somebody's doorbell, speak to their parents to see if they're in. You used to have to phone the landline, and the parents might answer. So you were always communicating with people, and it's easier now, obviously, for kids just to communicate over their headphones, mobile phones, and stuff like that. So being away from that scenario where there's no necessarily social media interaction and stuff like that, when you're actually in a room with people and you have to talk to people and you have to communicate, can only benefit people, I think.